What's going on, guys? Welcome to Wreck Bike Rebuild, Season 3, Episode 17. The show that turns dream bikes into shit.
Anybody can take a dream bike and turn it into a wreck bike. That's easy.
This is Wreck Bike Rebuild, where we take wreck bikes and turn them into dream bikes, and then we give them away to the community that helps us fund the show. I'm Chaseontwowheels. That is Brian, or AKA Brain, depending on what you want to do. And the guy floating the camera is Luke. You'll probably never see him unless we cut to one of these other cameras. But this is episode 17. We are working on the 2012 Vstar 1300 bobber. I got all that out. I'm proud of myself.
You did.
All right, guys, so as you can see, we have straight tagged the entire bobber. And that's because we're trying to figure out how many episodes we have left. Today's episode 17. So what we're focusing on, we got some really cool headlights we're gonna be putting on, hopefully be putting on.
Oh, they're going on.
Oh,
they're going on.
They're gonna go on. We got JB Weld, so we can make anything happen, right? Oh no, we have a welder. I've upgraded. I don't JB Weld things, I weld things now.
No more bubble gum, no more duct tape.
Right. Okay, so we got the headlights we're gonna work on today. We got the brake pedal that we're going to basically do the same thing we did last episode. We worked on the shift pedal that I subsequently broke. We don't worry about that. You can watch
We didn't
the
break
episode.
it, we tested it, it failed, and we fixed our mistake.
What he said. Yeah, that happened in 16. And what else we have? What else are we gonna try to do today, Brian?
Today we're gonna do...
We might mess with the seat some, because the seat's been in this
Well, the seat cover.
the seat cover.
Or
Yes,
the
right.
under seat cover, or the battery box cover. Or this cover right here
Right.
is what we'll maybe try and get to that today. I'm not sure if we have the material for it though, but we can brainstorm, get some good ideas, and maybe make it out of, we have some spare sheets of this
We also
thin
have
stuff.
an interesting idea to play with for that.
Uh-oh.
That Luke came up with. I'm excited to get to that point, if we get there. So I feel like since 16, we ended with working on the clutch pedal. We should probably just move to the brake pedal.
The what pedal? This ain't got no side shifter on it. It's a shift pedal. This is what you use to shift the gears, not to apply your clutch.
We are 30 seconds into the video.
So what we need to do is, here we have the brake master cylinder for the rear brake on the machine. This nice hydraulic cylinder here. It's got a threaded post on the end, which is where, so this threaded part right here goes through and gets nutted on both sides. And then we will attach to this portion. So we are definitely going to be doing a little bit more cutting and drilling and tapping and bolting and possibly some welding today. Okay, so you want to start with the headlights, or do you want to start with the, because I know the headlights we can pretty much knock out. The brackets that came with the headlights are super awesome, fantastic, and are going to be really easy to use.
You're just excited to do the headlights, is what it
Or do we
is.
want to jump right into brake pedal because we did the shift pedal first last time?
I want us to do the hard thing first, so that way when we go to the easy thing, like this will probably piss us off, and we'll have like this negative feeling. And then when we finish that, it'll be like, yay, we did it. Let's do the headlights. We'll get excited. It'll be easy. We'll get that momentum.
Okay.
I don't understand how this is supposed to, like, I get that threads onto
Okay,
this.
well, go get yourself a pair of needle nose pliers. Take that cotter pin out.
That is a baby cotter
You
pin.
may be able to do it with your fingers.
Not my
Probably
fingers,
not.
Brian.
Take that pin out, and then we'll bring this over here, and I will show you what I have in my mind as to how we're going to make this hookup.
Well, see, Brian, I have baby needle nose somewhere.
Needle nose are good enough. As long as you can grab a little piece of that thing and bend it out, it will bend pretty easily.
I really get nervous when it's silent in here and I'm doing something.
We're just waiting to hear the ow.
Here's my goal. I have personal goals every time we do an episode.
Can't wait to hear this.
My goal for this episode, for the people at home, is to try to be less cringy. 'Cause everybody says that Chase is cringy, even though what it is Chase is just having a good time in the shop working with his buddies. Supposedly, over the internet, it looks like cringe, whatever the hell that is. So today's episode...
Cringe like you get like sweaty and nervous when you have to do stuff.
Like I just do stupid shit.
There you go.
Got it. Oh, something fell out.
That's the washer. It goes inside the cotter pin. So right, the pin goes through, the washer goes on, the cotter pin goes through the hole.
I have successfully disassembled the cotter pin.
Now bring me that clevis.
The what? For those at home, is a clevis. If you didn't know, like me.
So we have to see this inner rod in here. We're gonna have to cut that back because it's too long. Because we have to like sink this pretty much because we want the brake pedal to be right about there. So we're really gonna have to.
So we're just gonna cut that actual rod.
Yes, but we want this brake pedal to be kind of not straight up in the air. You want it to be as comfortable for you to use it as possible, and that's really the goal.
So I'm gonna go ahead and grab a corded angle grinder because that seems like something we need.
Actually, if we have a cutoff wheel for a Dremel, dismount this, which we could take this whole brake assembly off and mount it on the bench and do it down here so we're not really close to anything that we don't want to cut.
Here's the thing, Brian. We have a Dremel.
Okay.
This is not a Dremel.
Instead of wasting our time looking for tools, we got the cutoff wheel. Let's just take these two bolts out, pull this thing back, and go ahead and cut it off while it's out on the bench.
Fine, Brian, fine.
Okay.
Why are you
makes me
eschewing?
So here's the deal with this. If we cut this in the wrong spot and it's not right anymore, then we need a new brake master because you can't buy the rod separately. It kind of comes as an assembly. You can't just buy the plunger. So we're really going to get something like one shot at this.
Okay.
So
is the head of it any different than the rest of it? Like, are we going to compromise because it's flat? Is that?
No, we're okay with that. That's just to make it easier to put the nut on to get it started.
Okay.
Now I'm putting this nut back on, so after we cut our piece here, we can turn the nut off and it'll kind of clean up the threads on the way out.
Good idea.
Roll yourself over here, Chase. You're gonna have to hold on to this yourself because I'm not gonna hold it. You may wanna, if you wanna bring the cart over here and we can put it in the vise, it'll make it a little bit easier for you to cut it, or you wanna do it, we'll do it that way.
Okay.
We're getting out of the way. That's coming over here.
Yeah, that's coming this way somewhere. I'm just gonna stand behind the
There you go.
stack of boxes.
Pulling me now. Oh, Brian, that's so cringy. Oh, my God, you're hiding from Sparks.
Spark away, Chase. Don't hurt yourself. Now, let me just. Okay.
This is the point we know that I would have ruined it, right? Like, now that the bolt's coming out,
We're good. Loosen.
now that the nut came out.
Oh, Chase. Okay, that's what I was looking for. Let's remount that. That's about as good as we're gonna get the brake pedal unless we wanna make some extra stuffs, which we could do.
I mean, I honestly feel like we kind of should for that because that does not line up.
Right, this is kind of where I would want it, and we need to bring the pin out a bit. So we may just go ahead and weld this on here and then, grind the shape into we want and then drill the hole we need. So what I need first is I need to take this foot peg off. see that? Doesn't come out because the pipe's so close. You'd actually have to take the foot peg off to get that out of there. But it'll still come apart.
Now, how do we know that that's going to be the right angle?
This moves a little bit.
Oh, okay. So there's a little bit of play that we can
Work
play
with.
with.
Yes.
Okay.
So just to be sure, I'm going to reassemble, and I'm going to hold that piece up there and mark with the marker so we know where to line it.
Yeah, that's not close at all, huh? That nut is like 1 centimeter from the exhaust.
Perfect.
We're working with Japanese precision.
We need a little tiny C-clamp.
Like
Maybe-
a little super baby one?
Just, we need to hold these two pieces together and then still have enough room for the clamp for the welder.
What a perfect time for last Christmas, Heather's granddad.
That might melt.
To give me a baby seat. What?
That might melt.
It's gonna be there for 1 millisecond.
Throw it on there, dog.
All right.
See what happens.
I mean,
No, throw it on there.
I am, but I'm just saying.
Throw it on there.
This little baby. Almost like its life was made for this moment.
To melt and die.
It will not be sacrificed. And if it does, it sacrificed its life for the greater good. It's like Spider-Man's granddad.
That's his uncle.
Oh, right. Yeah.
We might actually need to just use the clamp for the welder because I don't think there's going to be enough room. You know what I'm saying?
No.
The ground for the welder
Oh, use that as the clamp.
as the clamp.
I really wanted
To use your little baby clamp there.
yeah, that baby clamp was prepped and ready. It had lived its entire life for that moment.
So understand, you're just trying to put a tack weld in
Right.
that corner
All right.
so we can move this clamp to the outside of this so you could actually weld the rest of it. So
Gotcha. So this is like a
now
prep tack.
there's nothing really holding this still. You know what I mean? It's not, so you have to kind of like maybe put one hand here to hold it still,
Got it.
but try not to, push that piece of metal around because it's kind of just flopping. I'm gonna move over here and cover my eyes.
All right, boys. Launching tack weld in 3, 2, 1. Tack weld complete.
Let's take a look here. I don't think you actually got it on there, Chase.
All right, re-tack weld. All right, re-tack weld in 3, 2, 1. Definite tack weld complete.
That one you got.
Dang right, son.
Okay. I don't want to put it in the vise because I don't want to scratch the pedal. So what we're going to do here, are you okay welding right there?
Yeah, man. I mean, look at this table. It's got battle scars.
You're going to weld the rest of that right there. And
Right.
you can just nice and slow all the way around.
'Cause we got
Try
some-
not to stop.
Tried shit. All right.
Now that's a big heavy piece of metal, so you're not going to burn a hole through it.
Noted.
But try and get it as tight into where the two pieces come together as you can, and try and lay it in one bead.
So put it on like mayo on a sandwich.
A little bit slower. Because if you try and go, you're not going to get anything on there. Like you would, I don't know about you, but I don't put mayo on my sandwich like. Up. That means your tack weld wasn't good enough. I do need to reassemble the foot peg and remake my mark though, because I just ground it off. All right, if you don't mind, Chase, I'm gonna weld this piece.
I'm okay with that, Brian.
Okay.
What's it doing? Why?
It just needs more time. Like you need to actually look and see what you're actually welding together to see that everything's getting hot enough.
Right.
I just don't think you're quite there.
I'm not advanced to that level.
Yeah, I don't
of
think
where
I-
you feel confident. How do you feel about that?
I think it's welded. And I will need the, I'll probably just use the cutoff wheel and use the side of it because it's a little bit thinner to get into some of these tight places. So you could totally tell that those two have melted together. You could actually see that the metal was liquid and then cooled into almost a puddle. And it comes all the way around. And then that was our original tack back here. So that's a nice penetrant weld. That went okay. I'm gonna grind the end of this down. You know what, I think I'm actually gonna lay a bead across the back of this too. Yeah, just in case. Now that you've put everything away. Now we need to drill a hole in this.
Because of all the flexing this can do, we just need to drill a generic hole towards the outside of it with enough metal around it to make sure it's structurally sound.
Correct. Not too shabby, right? Freehand?
What made you freehand that instead of putting it on its
'Cause I-
side and going around the
Here?
cutoff wheel? Yeah.
Because when you go around the stone, you around the corner, you get a weird grind spot in it.
Oh, okay. So it was
It
just
kind of
easier
chatters
to,
it. It's just easier to do it like that.
Gotcha.
Not too
I mean,
bad though.
From here,
Freehand.
That's actually really good.
That's not too
especially
bad.
after you powder coat that,
Oh yeah,
you'll be able to see
that'd be
shit.
nice. Okay, reassembly. Do we have a small piece of sandpaper?
And why are you sanding that?
Because when I put it on before, it was a little stiff. I think it's just a little dirty. So, just real quick. Nothing crazy. Probably do all this again when we do final assembly with grease and everything else. I like it.
Now we cut
And
the rod and
then now
spoil the
if we
child.
have to bring it up, we have room on this shaft to bring it up.
Right. So we have some flexibility now
Yes,
if need
we
be.
have some flexibility.
All right. Seems as if
Flexibility!
we're gonna need another cutoff wheel soon.
We need another card in about 10 seconds.
There you go, Chase.
Coincide.
Perfect line for you to cut on.
Oh my goodness.
You could still cut with that one. That piece we're cutting is not that big.
Too bad we're
We
still
could
gonna
just,
need a card.
Well,
We
if we
done?
got 10 seconds, cut that thing off and then call it down.
We got 4 seconds.
Quick, cut it off. Here's cutoff wheel right there. Just lop it off. Boop.
All right, Luke, you ready for the most epic 4 seconds of footage of your life? This is like Mission Impossible. Are you ready? Are you going?
Just
already?
push the button.
Oh God.
Hit it. good.
Were you nervous at all?
Nope.
That's awesome.
I've been hitting the hands by hammers that somebody else has been swinging many a times.
Yeah, but like, how mad are you when that happens?
Well, if I'm dumb enough to actually hold something that somebody's about to swing a 2-pound sledgehammer at, it's my fault.
In that case, I was probably more scared than you were.
I guess so.
Wait, the oh shit part wasn't...
So here's the deal with this, right? I got to weld that to
Oh,
that,
shit.
but we can't get it on the pin. This is the pin for this clevis piece right here. And we need to attach this to here so we could pin it and then bolt it on. That's where we're at.
Should we, like, put tape on it or, like, anything on it to make sure that...
Tape really isn't going to help.
I'm trying to think of some sort of, like, safeguard
To
we
put on
can...
there?
Right. If we, like, do something like that,
I mean, somebody's got to stand here and hold it then.
I'll sacrifice that.
Okay, you got another pair of welding gloves?
No. You'll have the welding gloves.
All right.
And then I will have a welding shirt on.
It's not sticking to it.
Is the pin made of a metal that can do this?
Pretty much any magnetic metal can be welded.
Do we
Even
know if
some
that pin is
non-magnetic-
magnetic?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's just a piece of steel. I think it's just because we have two different pieces of steel.
Damn, it's not even close.
Yeah, it's not sticking at all. You know, this is probably stainless.
Is that not weldable?
Yeah,
With
need
this?
a lot more heat to weld it.
Right. So what's the plan?
I'm going to clean this up and I'm going to turn the heat up.
Oh, so this welder...
Shot. Hopefully, you know,
Yeah.
keep trying. Not going to work
Is that the last piece we're missing for
to finish that.
this?
Yep.
Okay.
Everything else for that is pretty much set. So what we're looking to do is this is the spacer that we made to go in between here and here. And then what we need to do is we need to have these two pieces attached, but they're not welding together for us because they're two separate metals, two different metals. So what I think we're going to do is we're going to take this down the street to a machine shop and we're going to have them make one of these for us just like that, all one piece of metal.
Are they able to put the little like hole in it? And,
Absolutely. They'll absolutely duplicate everything. And if they can't, then we'll drill a hole in it. It's not a big deal. But they'll be able to drill and tap that.
Oh, right. So they'll...
You know, they'll give it to us complete. We just have to stick it on. Just have that in there just like that.
Yeah, if that was whole one piece, that'd be really cool. With that, we're gonna have to put the brake side on pause.
Yeah, until we get to the machine shop and have that.
Yeah, we're gonna do that, and we'll have that for next episode, hopefully.
Just
so
complete it and be able to just throw
yeah,
it in.
we'll throw it in on that episode. Let's move on to the exciting part, the lights.
Well,
which...
I'm gonna mess with this piece of metal a little bit before we bring it to the machine shop.
Wait, why?
So,
What do you have to do to it to...
You know, honestly, now that I slid everything in there, I think it's just a hair long.
Oh, okay.
So I'm just going to trim it down, so when they take everything and put it together for measurement, it's right.
Oh, okay, cool.
First shot, so...
So guys, for the headlights, I got it up my butt that I really wanted to do like LED bar lights.
Got it up your butt?
Well, no, like it... Brian, are we switching places? Like you're the cringy guy?
Oh, that's fine.
For whatever reason, I know bobbers typically have the dome headlight situation. Dome. I really wanted to do like LED bar lights. So we found these from TC Bros. Ideally, we will mount these to fit in kind of like that. We were messing around with these earlier, and Brian discovered that... Do you want to show how you were messing with that to where these like might actually just fit in?
So these bolts we have down here for the risers,
Right.
we'll fit that bolt right through here, one on each side. So we'll have one here, and one here.
So wiring these up is probably going to take longer than mounting them, right?
Oh yeah, and we're not to any wiring point yet.
So we're just going to have the cables like dangling.
We're gonna put the headlights on and see how she looks. Maybe we'll power them up a little bit so that you see how they look on the bike. So let's go ahead and get started with removing at least one of these and get a bracket on here.
Yeah, let's mount
See
these
where
things
we're
up.
You know, I think just for look's sake, we're gonna have to put spacers in there.
Dude, that looks like a freaking monster from right here. Some like Cyclops beast. How do you wire these?
Both blacks from both lights to here,
Okay.
and then one gets a red and one gets a blue. The red
Right.
is
Regular.
running light, and
Right.
the blue is high beam.
Okay.
16 millimeters, so we need 4 8mm spacers.
But is a spacer going to be enough? Like, is this hardware long enough to reach all the way in?
Well, it'll be centered, so this will come to here.
Oh, we're going to center this.
Yes, and
I
then
see.
center the top one and have 4 bolts onto each light.
Oh, okay. So when you said for symmetry's sake, you meant spacers on each side and then, okay.
Yes.
You were talking about testing these. How do you,
Yeah, we got a battery, right?
Yes.
Nobody's home. Maybe the battery's dead.
Maybe.
Where's
Is
the
there?
other lithium one? It's still here, isn't it?
Maybe. This is a Mac Daddy ass battery. Hey,
A little closer.
nice.
You want to go walk over there and see what it looks like?
Jesus. They're gonna know. They're gonna know they're coming. just accepting it. Whoa. Wait, so why are you not getting electrocuted from the
Because it's DC, no AC.
Never mind. Never mind.
This is what our headlight setup is going to look like, and I really like it.
Yeah, I like this a lot.
Once we get the spacers in there to center everything up perfectly, it's going to be even nicer.
We were thinking about doing this like 3 lights, where 1 light would be here, but
I think that's too many lights.
it's way overkill. And also, this is really clean.
Clean. I was about to say, yeah.
And if we go any farther than this, it
Won't be as
becomes,
clean.
when we're done with this bike, it's going to be extremely clean. Like it's one of the things we've had in our head the entire time.
Yeah, we
So
want this thing to look like there's nothing extra on it.
do you want to try effing around with this? Because I've got an idea for this seat situation. It was Luke's idea, but I've been intrigued since the idea came to fruition. Okay, so like most people that are watching this episode have probably watched the majority of the other episodes, but we made this like temp seat. Wait, card's over? Damn it. Before the camera cut me off, I imagine the majority of you guys have watched all these episodes and know that we built this little under-seat pan. Would that be an accurate name? Under-seat pan. And we're trying to figure out what to do to cover the battery. And this has been our temp solution for a while. And we want something thicker, more like finalized looking. I think Luke and I were in the garage just like looking around trying to figure stuff out. And we thought it might be interesting to cut the seat up because the bottom of the seat should hypothetically fit this area perfectly. So if we cut the rubber into the size and shape we need, it should fit well so we can have a good mold to work from. Brian, when we brought this up to him, brought up a good point that this seat is wide AF and it's also made to like fit into other pieces with any
Attachment.
well we're gonna
Here's where I was at with it. Okay. These rubber things sit way down here.
right.
So these, this way would be the highest point. Flipped over would be the lowest point. They sit way out here.
Okay, so they'd be seen is what you're saying.
Yeah. There's not going to be no way to hide that. And it's going to sit that high up off of.
Oh,
Right.
I'm understanding more now because we wouldn't even have a way to secure this down.
Correct.
Oh, I mean, I guess we could drill holes. Hypothetically, we could drill holes and they would go into here. That'd be kind of overkill and stupid, though.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a cut up piece of plastic on here then.
Upon further inspection, probably, you know, that's one of those situations where I should have been like, hey, Brian, let's talk about this off camera before I like really push the subject.
Well, now we know. All right, so we have this piece. If we could have it a little longer, then we could just bend the sides down.
Could we do that with a thicker gauge metal?
Yeah, of course. I mean, we're not going to use 1/4 inch thick plate steel to do it, but this is like a bit stiffer than that and still be able to, you know, we have a vise,
Right.
you know, and you're going to take your piece and you're going to set it in the vise and tighten it up and then just hammer it over into the angle that you need.
Gotcha.
And then you'll have your bend in it. I mean, there are tools to do that the right way,
Right.
but you know, we're here in Wreck Bike Rebuild Garage. We're making do with what we have.
Right.
So
Okay, so the mentality is to get a thicker gauge of this, longer, and these ends we bend over, but what about these flat areas?
I think it would kind of be nice to see a little piece of frame.
Yeah. So the goal is to like keep this angle on the thicker gauge, but once it gets to here, we continue the metal out and we bend it down to hide all of this gross stuff.
Yep, both sides.
Yeah, both sides. And then this is kind
Bend it down
of
to the right angle. We could just mark it and trim it.
right.
So it'll sit like right here at the edge of the frame rail. We need another piece of metal.
Right, the thicker, whatever we end up getting.
I mean, this is aluminum, preferably aluminum,
Right.
because then it's not going to corrode.
So if we're doing machine shop for the thing, should we go ahead and show the belt guard so that we can potentially send that like to the machine shop as well?
Yeah, I don't think we need the machine shop to make that for us.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, I think we can handle that. It's
Oh,
going to
okay.
be another thing where it's just a sheet piece of steel that we, make the right shape and cut it out and then have
Right.
it powder coated.
The whole mentality that we had going on was, this is the belt guard, or is this the pulley guard? Pulley cover on this thing is absolutely massive, and we kind of like the look of this kind of openness situation. And
So this part goes on here behind the pulley, and then this is the piece that Luke started on. So it covers the, it's probably sharp, it covers the edge of the belt, but still shows the pulley spinning.
we were looking online to try to find one of those, kind of like the Ducatis have, like the clear,
Open cover.
right?
Yeah.
But they don't make anything like that for cruisers, so we were just like, what's the safest thing we can make? So I think when we go to get the piece of metal for the seat, we can also get the piece of metal we need for that.
Yeah, but we'd have to make a template for them first. Okay, we're gonna looking at something like that.
Yeah. That's going to be so freaking cool. Especially with a thin piece of metal, so it's not going to like stick out at all.
So we just have to make sure the clearance between here and the pulley
Right.
is enough that the belt doesn't touch it.
So I imagine that whole scenario is going to be us going back and forth with the grinding wheel and the stuff over there.
I kind of like it with a little point on it like that.
Yeah, I was going to say we kind of need to have a point at the bottom, and then maybe at the top it kind of points up at the, like wherever the thing comes down at.
All right, so this is our template number one. And probably the correct way to have done it instead of just hammering it down was to draw it out with like a pen line all the way around the edge.
That way we could have the perfect.
Trim a perfect outside line and then punch holes in it for where the actual hardware goes through.
Right.
So with that, we'd lay this down and then we might have to tap it just so we could see where the holes would be.
Okay.
And then, cut holes in there and then, get it as close as we can and then mount it up and see where it's at and make our modifications from there.
So guys, we're going to call it done of episode 17. On episode 18, we are going to rock out those final things, and as long as we don't hit any major speed bumps, we might be tearing down on 19 and doing some engine stuff. So it's nuts to think that this bike is a couple episodes away from being done.
I think the coolest part about this thing is we look so far away right now.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
And technically, once we get all these little pieces and covers and tabs and everything square and it comes apart,
right?
after that, it should really just put it back together.
Yeah.
There's all the fab work will be done. It'll be taken apart, get all the color stuff correct, and then put it all. There'll be some finished grinding to do and stuff like that. We'll probably have a whole day of any of these parts that we're sending out for powder coat are going to need to be cleaned up.
Right.
We still have to clean up some of the welds on the exhaust system and stuff like that. So that's really all just finishing work where you kind of just sit at a bench and sand and grind and
Right.
make stuff look pretty.
Not a lot of
I'm
visual
super
stuff.
duper happy that we don't have to drill any holes into the upper and lower triple clamps.
Yeah, the headlight situation ended up being like a solid move. Well, if you guys got to this point in the video, make sure to hit that like button. It is always helpful and makes the videos do much better, especially if you got to this point. Like, this video is like 30 minutes long. These things are crazy. If you guys want to help support the build and make sure the show keeps on going, go check out patreon.com/Chaseontwowheels to support Wreck Bike Rebuild and potentially, you know, just casually get given some dream bike. You know, no big deal. But guys, I've been Chase. That's been Brian. You've been floated around by Luke. And we will see you on the next one where we continue the fab process. Outro crew. What you got for the outro crew?
I know what we. Hold on, Luke. Zoom in real quick. We'll flash them out. Hold it straight, Brian. I can touch this, right?
Yeah, just hold the red one on and then tap the black one.
Right.
You can hold it on with your finger there, you're not going to get shot.
All right, outro crew. See you on the next one. Bye.